My family, hi. Concerning what has been happening, we have some of these things in the news.
Spain's Prime Minister has doubled down on his criticism of the attack on Iran by the US and Israel, warning the conflict risked playing Russian roulette with the lives of millions. Pedro Sanchez was responding after US President Donald Trump threatened to cut trade with Madrid over its position on the conflict. Tensions between the two NATO allies have risen after Sanchez described the bombing of Iran as reckless and illegal.
Good evening. Donald Trump has admitted America's strike on Iran, Operation Epic Fury, isn't going to plan as more US assets come under attack. Right now, hundreds of Australians are heading home on the first flight out of the Middle East since the war began.
They're fleeing Dubai, where America's consulate has now been bombed. While President Trump claims Iran's Navy and Air Force have been knocked out, he says he's surprised at Tehran's response.
Under fire, Iran hits America's consulate in Dubai and targets another in Jordan. This war is not playing out the way the man who pulled the trigger thought it would.
Amazingly, they're hitting countries that were, let's call them neutral, right? They lived together for a long time. I think they were surprised. I was surprised.
America is still boasting of its successes, though, knocking out 1,700 Iranian targets. This is the view of an Israeli pilot as Iranian soldiers flee before impact. Israel claims to have hit the headquarters of the Assembly of Experts in the Iranian city of Qom, where a new supreme leader was to be chosen. Ali Khamenei's son, Mojtaba, said to be the leading contender. The US says all 17 ships of Iran's navy are gone.
They have no navy. It's been knocked out. They have no air force. It's been knocked out. They have no air detection. That's been knocked out. Their radar has been knocked out. And just about everything's been knocked out.
But Iran's showing it still has the power to fight.
The process that has begun will soon reach Europe if countries think that they can sit safely in a corner until this war, this conflict ends and then take a share of it. They are gravely mistaken. The fire of this war is highly contagious and will engulf the entire world.
While cautious, some of America's traditional allies are preparing for a wider war. Greece is sending 2 frigates, France deploying an aircraft carrier group, 2 more frigates to the eastern Mediterranean. From the UK, HMS Dragon, its most advanced destroyer, due in Cyprus in a week. Qatar says it took down 2 Iranian fighter jets in its airspace and 98 ballistic missiles. British ground troops stationed in Iraq also downed drones. Its RAF jets already in the air, shooting down attack drones over Jordan and Qatar. Israel is fighting on a different front. Pummeling Beirut, targeting Iranian proxy Hezbollah. 40 are dead, 30,000 displaced. Among those killed, a key Iranian Special Forces commander hiding out. Israel's tanks now seen at the border with Lebanon, awaiting further instruction.
So before we actually continue with the updates, I want you to check out these prophetic words.
Look at what the Lord said.
I saw great war breaking out with Israel and Iran in the days ahead. And I told you back in January that I saw an American missile striking a mountain that was an underground city. And Iran set all kinds of deterrents trying to stop this missile. It was a very powerful one. When Israel does this, I saw that they set Iran back financially, nuclearly, everything. I heard the Spirit of the Lord say they put them back in the Stone Age. But when they do this, they strike their refineries. And when they strike the refineries, I saw gas and oil prices skyrocketing. I've warned you this since 2023 about this. And then the Lord showed me in that vision the 1970 gas wars. I saw cars lined up down the blocks because of gas shortages, and it would bring the price of oil up $200 a barrel. Big money trying to flow, which would stimulate the American economy whenever these big oil productions get hit in the Middle East. And it would happen for a season, for a window. I don't know how long, for a window. And I saw drill, baby, drill. I saw pipelines being opened up, being worked out, making big agreements for pipelines. The Nord Stream pipeline, I believe is what it's called. I saw it being talked about and opened up, working on it. Like trying to get this pipe deal going. Doing major oil big deals ahead. Stimulating America's economy. But when this happens, I saw great anti-Semitism because of people being mad at Israel about what they're about to do. Remember this. I saw them wanting to retaliate with war. Russia, Syria, Turkey. I saw them getting upset in the Middle East against, well, you did all that, we're going to come after you. So have we changed it through prayer? I don't believe we have.
And stay tuned, we'll get back to that. I wanted to check out some more news updates.
So we're in the north of the country, and this is the Israel-Lebanon border. 130 kilometres long with a 9-metre high, heavily fortified wall. We can't show you for security reasons, but what makes this so significant isn't just the border incursion, but the first use of ground forces in this war.
Israel insists this is not an invasion, just an incursion, creating a buffer zone to keep Hezbollah back. It hasn't worked yet. As we were there, a Hezbollah attack drone came flying over the border, forcing us into shelter.
That is a serious hit. How far away do you think that was?
Iron Dome missiles attempting to bring it down. It's unclear if they succeeded. Tonight, the first faces of American losses. 4 soldiers from Iowa killed in a drone attack in Kuwait. And these young girls, students at a primary school in southern Iraq, killed with their teachers in a targeting tragedy, 168 dead. The child victims of adult actions.
Tell us about this war in Iran. I'm really interested in your take on assuming victory. Let's assume that Iran is militarily knocked out. Forget about whether there's a regime change or not, we don't know. But with Iran neutered as a military and terrorist force in the region, how could things change?
Well, it's complicated because the Iranian-backed Shia militia, which is now severely humiliated and weakened since October 7, so most notably Hezbollah, they were the primary actors in helping the Americans on the ground defeating the Sunni Islamic State jihadists. This is how complicated it is. So what we're seeing here is a protracted sectarian war, if you like, between the Shia Iran and their proxies and the Sunni Gulf states and their proxies, essentially, that have morphed into these jihadists. So it's complicated in that regard. But on the other hand, if the regime collapses and the Shia crescent, the so-called axis of resistance, dissipates, then the Shia are going to be the new losers of the Persian Gulf. And they may well turn to Shia militia groups that are hell-bent on seeking revenge against the Sunni jihadists.
As we speak, the United States and Israel, they're pummeling Iran for a 4th day as Donald Trump declares just about everything has been knocked out. And Iran, of course, is continuing to retaliate, striking across the Gulf, striking the US consulate in Dubai. Can I get your assessment of the retaliation we are seeing from Iran?
Great to be on your show, Gabriela. Absolutely, what we have seen over the past few days, certainly there's attention on the part of the international community on the threat coming from the Iranian regime. But one thing is very clear: to end the threat from Tehran, there is only one way to do it, and that's ending the rule of the clerics in Iran, ending the regime. And of course, that's the responsibility of the people of Iran.
While that momentum has been building, Iran has elected a new supreme leader, the second son and chosen heir of the Ayatollah Khamenei. Reports that this was done after pressure from the Revolutionary Guards. What more can you tell us about this?
Honestly speaking, there is really no replacement for Supreme Leader Khamenei. Out of the 47 years of the rule of clerics in Iran, 37 years of that, Khamenei was the Supreme Leader. And I think his death is basically the end of the theocracy, is end of this regime. Now, they may last, a little longer, but no one can replace Khamenei. Plus, even if Khamenei was alive, the circumstances have significantly changed. So the whole issue of succession is really increasingly become moot. The real issue regarding Iran is how long more can the regime hold on to power, facing the public outrage. It's only the Revolutionary Guards who are actually keeping the regime in power.
Now, look, Donald Trump has said that he launched this Operation Epic Fury against Iran because he was convinced that the Islamic regime was going to attack first. Here's what he said overnight.
No, I might have forced their hand. You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And we have great negotiators, great people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first.
Has he got a case there, Peter, that had he not moved, Iran would have first?
Well, I think the context is that Iran has been at war with Israel and the United States, and I'm going to say even Australia. Let's not forget those terrorist acts that Iran commissioned in Australia in late 2024. Iran has been at war with the democratic West for years, and Trump's concern in particular was, well, what happens if it gets to a point that they can reprocess that uranium to turn it into weapons grade, and all of a sudden they've got nuclear bombs with missiles capable of carrying them. I don't know if Iran was close to an attack 48 hours ago, 72 hours ago, but certainly the broader context is they've been in a fight for a very long time, and I don't think any American president could really take the risk of finding an Iran all of a sudden equipped with nuclear weapons. So this has been something that the last 3 or 4 American presidents have struggled with, but only Donald Trump has had the courage to take it to a military operation to stop Iran from acquiring those weapons of mass destruction. And so I think he made a necessary call based on a piece of tactical information, which was the gathering of the Supreme Leader Khamenei with 40 of his closest friends, and that was reason enough to start the attack at the time they did. Perhaps the American plan would have been for 48 hours later, who can say? But, broadly, I think America was acting essentially in self-defense, understanding that Iran was a threat, and Iran was determined to acquire nuclear weapons, and you put those things together and that becomes a threat which America just could not tolerate.
Very interesting. And I actually have this prophetic word from Brother Brandon where he actually talks about the future plans, what's to happen next and all that. Listen to this.
So, are we there? I don't know. I can just tell you it looks like something, don't it? Can we stop it through prayer? Because a lot of the visions I believe that the Lord gives me, we change through prayer. I don't consider myself a prophet. I've said that 1,000 times. I believe I'm a watchman, and the Lord said, I called you to go on YouTube and pray. And I will show you things that it's going to happen in the future about world events. And you will change it through prayer on this channel. Governmental things, voting, all of it. And he said, that's your main focus. So there are a lot of people say, is that prophetic? I see. And the Lord tell me, pray. So is that prophetic? You label me whatever you want to. I don't care. I don't label myself. I just keep close to him and I want to fly. But whenever I see part of a word coming to pass, I start to look at but it was a window. It don't last very long. A window small. The Lord didn't say a door. But as I told you, Venezuela and Iran and all these were all trying to be part of the BRICS in the days ahead. And I saw Trump strategically eliminating the new BRICS system so that it becomes weak. They needed funding. Venezuela, Iran's oil, other nations. I saw other people in Africa, other nations rising up with the BRICS to back the BRICS currency. And I saw Trump attacking that. And this is exactly what I believe is happening. It makes the dollar strong, and it makes it where they don't have a BRICS no more. BRICS goes away. And as I saw Macron and these other men, they try to raise up greater war in Europe to support the euro. And as I saw the euro would be in trouble, and I saw war break out, and I saw these things. I think it's interesting. It all goes to a digital platform in the days ahead, to a beast system with crypto. And the foundation is being laid. I don't know, folks. All I know is when I see all the signs of the times all around us right now, all I know is it sure looks like the book of Revelations. It looks like the things that we've been waiting for.
So according to the prophetic word, this is what lies ahead. So he's saying that he shares prophecy so that people pray. So I'll meet you in the next one. As always, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.